Hello, millionaires. Welcome to the Millionaire Money Podcast, episode 19. Today, we are going to be continuing our series on the irreplaceable habits of millionaires. And we're going to be speaking about a habit that shows you how to generate interest organically that actually converts into investments and money in your pocket, no matter how much or how little you have to work with. We're going to be talking about the habit of being outstanding. Let's do this. All right, family, let's get into it. Let's talk about it. So today we're going to be talking about the habit of being outstanding. I'm going to interchange it with the word being excellent. So as we talk, I may say excellent, I may say being outstanding, but what I wanted to talk about, and the reason this is one of the top habits of millionaires that I wanted to share with you guys, is because we live in a very competitive world right now. Like, we can't ignore the fact that the internet has completely changed the game. You know, back in the day, you could be a horrible restaurant owner, like your cook ain't great, this ain't working, and you will still have a full room of people because they don't know what other options are in the area or whatever. But with the internet, which is awesome, everything is out on the table. So your competition is not today like what it was even 10 years ago. So if you're setting your goal to my goal is that we're good enough, that we're solid and our quality is just there, you're setting yourself up for failure. Because in our generation, you need to learn how to be outstanding and how to create outstanding out of nothing, with whatever you have in your hand, how to make sure that it shows up in such a way that it pulls your clients, your people to you and keeps them there. So here, and this is the second part of why we're talking about this. Well, you know what? I'm going to talk about it a lot inside of this episode. So you see me, I'm always running ahead because there's so much I want to say. I'm like, oh my gosh, I got so much to say about this subject. But before I run ahead of myself, what I want to do is share why this matters. Because the truth is, if you're listening to this podcast, this episode, it's because you're here to create your first $1 million to $100 million. And the truth is, you can't have that sort of a millionaire lifestyle if you are okay with mediocrity. If you're okay with mediocrity for yourself in your life, if you're okay with mediocrity in what you provide and what you produce for other people, if you're okay with that, if you don't learn this habit, if you don't get it ingrained in you, this place of being outstanding, it creates mediocrity. And I promise you guys, if you're listening to a podcast like mine, that very word should make you ooh. You know what I mean? And the second thing is, if you don't learn how to be outstanding, it creates stagnancy. Right? Where you're just always plateaued, always in the same place. There's just this apathetic, nothing great, but nothing bad. At least it's nothing bad. I remember one of our reset clients, she's actually in our room right now. She mentioned that when she came to us, she's like, I've worked at the same job for the last 12 years. And she's like, over the 12 years, I never once have gotten in trouble. I don't get in trouble, but I'm also not outstanding. I just kind of coast. I'm just there. I do the job and it's done. And I've been there for 12 years like this. She joins our process, and literally, I think it was by her 4th week with us, she was like, I'm the salesperson of the quarter. I'm the salesperson of the week this week. I got a recognition because of the leadership that I've been showing in mentoring somebody else who's now the third best salesperson of the quarter. So she's like, I'm getting recognized everywhere. And she's just like, wow, I always knew in my head that I had this in me. I always knew I'm not shy. I'm a go-getter. I push. I set these goals. And she's like, for 12 years, I've been wanting to be that person. But for 12 years, I've just kind of coasted. And then I come in here. She's obviously removed the roadblocks. And we're going to talk a lot about the roadblocks and the stuff that causes us to not be outstanding. But she's like, I've done the process, I've done the work, and all of a sudden, like my people like to say, all of a sudden, it's working, and I'm showing up differently, and I'm getting different results, and I'm getting recognized for my different results. And so being outstanding really does make a difference. There's something that I hear from my one of my mentors all the time. He always says, free advice is worth every single penny. And there's a lot of people who love to cut corners when it comes to themselves. When it comes to investing in themselves, they're always cutting corners. I've seen people who will spend tens of thousands of dollars on like 12 different Band-Aid solutions that don't help them actually fix the problem that they have, instead of making one investment that would actually give them a solution to their problem for sure. I spoke to someone just yesterday, and I think that's essentially what she had done. She had done all these different $100 program, this other program, that other program, da 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 da. And the reason she was still having a conversation with me was because she's like, Toyin, I put my money in all this stuff, and I'm still here. It ain't working. Nothing changed. Why? Because she hadn't prioritized finding people that were outstanding in their work so she could have outstanding, so her life could be outstanding until yesterday. She did fix that yesterday. So now, why are we talking about this? People generally say that, it's impossible to be excellent. Like, it's impossible to really create at that level. It's impossible to be outstanding, especially because there's so much competition and the economy is doing what it's doing, and da da da. So I can't be outstanding right now. It's just too difficult. It's just impossible. And now I just want to make something very clear. Being outstanding is not the same thing as being perfect. So you don't need to try to be perfect in everything that you do. And in fact, because a lot of people confuse these two things, being outstanding or walking in excellence and being perfect, most people will actually hold themselves back from doing anything because they're waiting until things are perfect to put it out there. Okay, and this really dovetails with the conversation that we had last week about the habit of focus. Because for a lot of people, when it comes to being outstanding, the reason they cannot be outstanding is because they're trying to be outstanding in 10 different things, and you can't do that. Like, you can be outstanding in 3 things rather than be mediocre in 10. So if y'all ain't heard last week's episode about the power of focus and the habit of focus, you need to go back and listen to that episode, because that episode, I promise you, it's like a linchpin for all the other habits and conversations that we're going to be having. So please, after this episode, go back and listen to the habit of focus. Okay? I was recently speaking to one of our clients. Her name's Averita, and she came to us, and we're just talking about this place of being outstanding and choosing your environment, choosing what you're using to create the lifestyle that you want to have, the millions of dollars you want to grow. So one of our clients, Averita, she came to us, I think 3 months ago. And when she did, she almost didn't actually commit to doing our process, because I remember she had mentioned to me, Toyin, I found this like $127 course online, and it's going to show me how to become completely debt-free. I'm just so excited. It's going to give me a budget and all of that stuff. And I was like, all right, girl, if you want to do that and you want to do $127,000 so that somebody can give you a budget, I told her, let me even do you one better. You don't even need $127 to get a good budget. Go on Google. Like, just Google budget. You will see budgets. For free, you will get a budget on Google completely free. But if what you're trying to create is a totally different lifestyle, if what you're trying to create is not having to work the way that you're working right now to get debt free, if what you're trying to create is actually becoming debt free in a faster period of time, if what you're trying to create is to be able to build your retirement account to hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars, then this is the room that you got to be in, so we can have a real conversation about how to fully turn around your financial situation. Because the truth is, you can't turn around your financial situation with $127. So we spoke, and she was like, you know what, Toyin, you're right. I'm here. Let's do this thing. So we ran, and this was 3 months ago. Over the course of working with us, we show her how to own her value. We show her how to shift her mindset around money, and then we showed her how to create a plan for your money, like for her money, because that is important as well. But our plan is different from the one that you are going to find on Google, because everybody sees Google, yet 75% of the people in America are in debts. I think it's about 68% in America, 75% here in Canada. So everyone has access to Google, but there's something about what y'all are accessing that ain't working. Okay? All right. Now, she's doing the process. Within 4 weeks, she went from earning $3,600 a month to earning over $10,000 a month in the same job. Y'all, if you are listening to the audio version, you're not seeing me nod my head. If you're watching the video, you're getting all the full effects. But when she told us, like, she was wild, she was happy, she's like celebrating, she's like, Toyin, oh my gosh, and we're all freaking out, like, yes. But I said to her, I'm like, girl, $127 would not have done that for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, this woman is now earning an extra, this is not the total, an extra $76,000 every single year that she wasn't earning 3 months ago. She paid off all of her credit cards in 2 months. All of them. This was the debt, part of the debt that she wanted the $127 course to tell her how to pay off over the next year and a half, 2 years. And so what am I saying? I'm saying that the level of excellence that you want to see in your life is the level of excellence that you want to surround yourself with. This is one of the reasons, when we started our financial journey, and I was like, I am sick and tired of being broke. I'm ready to scale. I'm ready to be a millionaire. I'm ready to build. One of the first things we did was we invested in this program, and the program was like $3,400. And this was when we did not have money, y'all. Like, we didn't have money for rent, barely had money for groceries. And it was like, you know what? This is the path. I'm going to get in a different room, because obviously the room that I'm in ain't working for me, which was no room. I wasn't in any rooms, that focused on scaling. At this stage, we've literally, let me think, we've probably invested, this is just as a family, in myself, in the business, over $400,000 at least into this habit, being outstanding at what we do. And it's not for the flash. It's not for, $400,000, you know what, I want to get a new website, I want to do this, I want to do that. Shoot, my husband made the website that we have right now. I'm just like, babe, can you do that? It's not about those things, because I see a lot of people that focus on that, and I'm still coming to that. But it's in, how can we up level who I am, what I know, my team? How can we up level so that our clients have a completely different result, process, standard in their lives, because we keep getting sharper and sharper. Every single year we invest into training for our staff team. Because the truth is, if you wait until it's easy to invest, you'll never invest. All the people that I see some people that literally have hundreds of thousands of dollars and they still don't know how to invest. So their money grows in a linear way. It's just waiting. It's just stagnant. It's just there. And they're like, oh, well, I want to speed it up, but I can't do anything. I'm stuck. My hands are tied. And I'm like, yeah, because you chose to tie your own hands. The people who multiply money, the people who earn money, like I have literally never met a multi-millionaire that did not learn how to invest and leverage the little or the much they have in their hand. Now y'all hear me, because some of y'all are listening to this and you're like, oh, well, I guess this episode isn't for me because I don't have any money to invest, because you need money to make money. That's a belief, a limiting belief, by the way, financially. Because you need money to make money and I don't have any money, so I guess I'm stuck. I guess I can't make any investments, blah, blah, blah. Some of y'all, your brains went there immediately. But what do I want to say to you guys? How many stories, if you've been listening to my podcast, how many stories have you heard me talk about people who came to us because they didn't have money and were able to figure it out? And when I say figure it out, I mean the level of commitment that actually creates a transformation. That level of resourcefulness, that level of creativity where you're able to create something out of nothing. That's what I had to do. And that's available to you, but it's only available for the people who are actually committed to being outstanding. There's so many people who are just ready to settle. Well, I guess this is my portion in life. I guess there's nothing I can do about it. Well, don't you see the economy is even getting worse right now? So, like, if ever, like before, I may have had an opportunity, but now it's just all over. For some of you guys, over the last how many years, you're like, oh, well, before I could have bought a house, but now look at housing prices. There's no way, I'm totally out of the game. Like, you're literally allowing yourself to settle in mediocrity. And then you're giving yourself all these stories and these coping mechanisms, these band-aids to tell yourself it's okay. I never really wanted it after all. I don't really want to own my own home, or, being a millionaire is so overrated. And the truth is, like, for some of y'all, you need to be honest with yourself. I'll talk to some people and they'll say, and for some people it's genuine, but for some people it's talk, it's fluff. You're just trying to make yourself feel better. You're like, well, all I want is to be able to pay my bills. I don't really care about, having a nice place to live. I just want to be able to cover my bills. And I'm like, is that really true? Is that really true? Or are you limiting your ability to dream and to be outstanding and to have an outstanding life because you genuinely think it's impossible? So what am I saying? So first of all, let me say what I'm not saying, okay, y'all? So that y'all don't go and carry what I've said and make some dramatic mistakes, okay? So let me just clarify something. I am not saying that you should throw your money all over the internet, because online marketing is a beast these days. A beast. Where you have so many people who do not get client results, but they know how to be shiny. There is a difference. Family, hear me right now. There is a difference between being shiny and being outstanding. And I'm going to explain that difference, but I'm going to say that again. There is a difference between being shiny and being outstanding. I remember somehow someone had sent me, how did it? I don't even remember how it started. Maybe I saw an ad or something, but it was someone who was also a financial coach in the financial space. It was a group. It was a group of people, so not a main person. And normally, like, I don't pay any mind to any of that stuff because I have my own clients I'm working with. I'm busy. I got stuff to do. I got my business. I got my staff team. But you know those days where you're weak and you're distractible. So I'm on Facebook. Okay, I'm human too. I'm on Facebook. I see the ad. The ad was so cute that I was like, I wonder who these people are. Like, this just looks really, really good. So I click on their page to go see their page. And man, their page was bumping. Their page was so cute. That was just the word. I was like, this just looks good. Like, it's so shiny and pretty and cute. And, I start thinking to myself, and I'm like, shoot, my stuff isn't like about the looks. Like, we are so I'm thinking, my stuff doesn't look like theirs does. My stuff doesn't look as good. Let me be really honest, okay? My stuff doesn't look as good as these people's stuff does. And this is just based on their Facebook pages. I'm scrolling through. It just looked so good. And God just knows. Like, God, guys, when I say God has your back, sometimes God had my back, because I don't normally get into this comparison thing. In fact, I haven't been on Instagram, I think, in 4 months, just because I'm like, not for that. I don't have time for that. I don't want it to take up mental capacity. And so normally I'm really good with just staying focused and not comparing myself. But this time I was inside, okay? I'm swimming in the river of comparison, and I'm going, these guys' stuff looks so cute. I need to up my game. I need to make my stuff look better. I don't even think about how my stuff looks. Like, we've been using the same kind of like font look thing for how long, and blah, blah, blah. And God just so happened to have it that one of the people who had been leading in their business had a conversation with me. Like, literally, we got connected within like a week, because they wanted to learn from me. They were asking me some questions, and we were just talking about business, right? And one of the things that the person had mentioned to me, well, part of why she was talking to me was because she wanted to come and work with us. And so I'm talking to her, and I'm like, hi, why do you want to come work with us? You're obviously very much entrenched in this other business, and it's the same sort of a business, so this would be quite awkward. And she was like, well, to be very honest with you, like, there's no money. Like, we don't have clients, we don't have anything. Like, so everybody's just sinking there. Nobody's getting paid. There's nobody in the room for us to be working with. And I'm just tired of not getting paid. Like, I need something where there's like real people in the room, and I can get paid, and I can build my life, because my life can't just be stuck here. And so, we have that whole conversation and whatever. And then she was like explaining, because I'm like, how can you not have any clients? Like, what do you mean you don't have any clients? And she's like, yeah, like, we have no structure for getting leads or doing this or doing that. So everything we have is like organic, and we post a lot because we want to try to pull people in. But like, there's nothing really there. Oh my gosh, guys. So I get out of the conversation. And of course, me and Jesus have a good conversation. Because what he showed me was, first of all, this is like a totally side note lesson for you guys. And then I'll connect this to being outstanding. What he showed me was that I had been comparing myself, me, by the grace of God, that started from ground zero, that's built our company into multiple millions of dollars, that we have a staff team of, I think, 11 or 12 right now, that we've done, all these different things, and we're changing lives, and there's people in the room every single week, oh my gosh, thank you, you've changed my life, this is happening, and this is happening, and they scaled their income by this amount, and paid off this amount, and all these things are happening. I'm out here looking at somebody with a cute Facebook page, and I'm beating myself up because my stuff isn't as cute. So first of all, that's a whole sermon on its own that I'm not even going to get to, but I got the message loud and clear, and it was so beautiful, and I was so grateful, because honestly, he didn't need to have connected me, not just to someone who was connected to that business, but to someone who knew the inner workings of that business enough to be able to let me know, Toyin, it's not what it looks like. So that was number one. But why am I saying this? I'm saying this because it also re-emphasized for me that online marketing can lie, right? And so when I talk about being outstanding and investing into outstanding for your life, I am not talking about being flashy. I'm not talking about you go and you're looking for what looks good. You are looking for what has results. That's what you want to see. I want to see results. I want to see results. I remember I fell for this, I think it was January of this year. I invested into a vendor to help us create some stuff in our tech systems, and they were going to help us with this and this, and their whole process, the way they explained it, it just sounded so good. And it was the only time I didn't check in on their results. Because they were Christian and they had said this and this, and I knew the person through another person, so I was like, this person has to be pretty solid, and I just didn't even think to check in. I was just like, I let my guard down, and wouldn't you know it, it was all fluff. It was all talk. The person literally took that and disappeared. And so for those of you where that has happened, I know how you feel. Just disappeared. So what is my point? You are looking for someone who is real, who has results to back up what they're talking about. And when I talk about results, y'all, outstanding results, I am not just talking about the same one story 8 different times. The same story, the same client, this client of mine, we help this client get to this level. You know, sometimes people will get to $100,000 a month, 1 month in their business, and they'll say, let me teach you how to do, we do $100,000 months. And it's like, you did it 1 month, bro. Chill. You know what I'm saying? Like, we do this. It's like the tendency to exaggerate the actual results. So I'm not just looking for results. You want to be looking, have these people helped multiple people in multiple different situations, multiple times, get those results. Like, I remember we have a results page, and like I told you, my goal is not to look cute. So we have this results page. On the result, and maybe what I'll do for this episode, I'll put the results page link on the chat, and you guys can check it. But honestly, we have this results page, and there's like 50 different stories on this page. And it's like videos, screenshots, stories, written, all these different things. I capped it at 50 because I was like, okay, I don't want the page to actually just be overwhelming. But we've actually seen thousands of people shift, scale by tens of millions of dollars, their income, their revenue, pay off millions of dollars of debt. So it's like understanding that when you are investing into something, you are not just in throwing your money somewhere. You need to be mindful for the type of outstanding you're looking for. If you're looking for someone that's going to show you how to have a really beautiful website, like my website's just normal in moneymindsetShift.ca. It's very basic. It's not outstanding website. Why? Because it's not my priority. What is my priority? Tens of millions of dollars scaled in our clients, and their bank account shifting, and their mindset around money shifting, and they actually get to rest and chill and do what they want to do with their life instead of money telling them what they're going to do with their life. Okay? So that's the first piece. But you need to decide. You need to make a decision for yourself. Am I going to leave my retirement, my dream, my $1 million lifestyle to a DIY process or a $127 course? Or am I actually going to sit down with an expert who has a team to show me how to hit this goal in an amount of time that makes the people in my life go, what happened to you? Because that's what our clients literally hear. Their husband be like, what happened to you? Their wives be like, did you do something? Because you've changed. And it's like the results, they're traveling. Like it makes a difference what is actually changing for you. And there's a level of thinking in an outstanding way that you can only get from your environment. You know, I I was speaking to a client of ours. His name's Matt. He came to us in January. So he started with us in January. He finished one of our programs. Then he decided to do another one. We call it Millionaire Mastermind. So he's in our Millionaire Mastermind. And I remember when we were having the conversation with him stepping into Millionaire Mastermind, where I asked him, what's your goal for this year? Because it was still early in the year, maybe February. And he had earned a certain amount last year. I think he had earned just over $200,000 or something in the year. And so he said, my goal this year is to double that, so that we would do at least $500,000 this year. And then I'd know, I'm on track, I'm scaling. And just because I understood his business, his model, he runs a carpentry business. I thought to myself, and I told him, I'm like, yeah, you could do a lot better than that. Like, you could do a lot more than that. So at a minimum, can we set the goal to triple what you did last year? And he's like, oh my gosh, if you can do it, then let's do it. Of course, I would rather triple than double. And doing it in such a way, because this is very important, y'all have heard me say this, we don't want any miserable millionaire. So doing it in such a way that he still has that work-life balance and is enjoying himself, his family, and all of those pieces. Okay, cool. Within, I think it was like a month and a half of being in the room in our Millionaire Mastermind, all of a sudden, his business just skyrockets. I think he already did in Q1, first quarter of this year, he already did what he did last year. He's on pace now to quadruple what he did last year, which is similar to a lot of other people in our ethos, in our environment. He's on pace to triple it. He's multiplying his team, hiring people. Like, now the questions that he literally asks me that we talk about all the time is like, Toyin, how do we handle the growth? How do we scale with it? How do we make sure that it's consistent, it's sustainable? Like, it's happening so quickly. And my point is, you won't be able to get that level of thinking and advice from people who haven't prioritized themselves. Why am I able to bring to him, like, this is the level you can bring to your carpentry business? Because I've invested $400,000 plus into my own thinking ability. Thinking ability is what teaches you how to be outstanding, how to speak and think above what everyone else is thinking. I remember getting around one of my mentors who lives in Ukraine. He's not there anymore, obviously, with everything that's happening in Ukraine right now. But we went to Ukraine to sit with him, and like every single conversation we had with this man, it was me and my husband, and we brought our daughter with us. Every single conversation, we were stunned. Every single question we would ask this man, in this situation, what would you do? Or how did you do that thing? Because he's literally a world changer. He's done so much in the world and impacted so many people. How did you do this? And how did you do that with these limitations and blah, blah, blah? And we would be thinking he would give us an answer like that. But his answer was always like out of this world, like completely outside of the grid of what we were expecting him to say anything about. But it would answer the question and it would just blow our minds. There is a level of outstanding you can only get from that level of excellence and connection and knowing what environment you are putting yourself into to be able to think differently and create differently. So you want to make sure that you're not prioritizing excellence in the areas that do not matter. You're not prioritizing excellence in, is this person outstanding because of the way that it looks? Is this person outstanding in the results? Am I outstanding in the results I get for the company I work with? In the results I get for my clients? This is you guys now. That is where you need to be prioritizing this place of being outstanding. Stephen Covey said in his book, 7 Habits of Highly Successful People, he said, before you climb the ladder of success, make sure it's leaning up against the right wall. Elon Musk, what did he say? He said something, one of the biggest traps for smart engineers is optimizing something that shouldn't even exist. So when you're talking about being outstanding, I told you already, it goes back to last week's episode, focus. You actually need to know, what am I going to be outstanding in? What am I going to choose to be the area that I stand out with? People are attracted to excellence. People are attracted to something that is outstanding. But if your outstanding is surface, it will fall flat. And they may come once, but they won't come back. And so if you know what I'm wanting to create is something that is outlasting, something that lasts, something that is a legacy that actually speaks, then you need to prioritize the right type of outstanding. People will invest into you when you value being outstanding for yourself. Yeah, it's so funny. And we're gonna wrap up this episode pretty quickly, but we were in, and this has happened multiple times. We were in one of our coaching rooms, and there was a client of ours that said, Toyin, you know, when I came in this room first, I honestly was just like, why is she so extra? She's like, to be very honest with you, like, she's super calm, like this client of mine, and I love her. She's like super calm, and she's just like, you know, I came in here and here's this woman and she's just like yelling or doing this, like, you know, it's like, okay, yeah, we're learning and whatever, but you're just like so loud. And I'm like, zero offense. I am not even offended because it's true. I know myself. I am loud and I am extra, is how I am. So she says that, and she's like talking to me, she's talking to everyone else, and she's like, but you know, I see that it's working, like the process is working for everyone in the room. So right out the gate, even though I was like put off by the fact that you're just so loud about it, I could see it was working. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna hang around. And I mean, it worked for me. And then she shares with us how all these doors have opened and income is increased and it's impacted her parents and all these different things are happening. And she shares it so calmly. And she was just like, I'm just glad that I didn't let, you know, your extraness distract me from just following the process and just doing the stuff, because at the end of the day, it's working and I'm loving the life that I'm living right now. And I know what I'm doing. I know where my money is going. I know how I'm building my retirement, all of those pieces. So what's my point? My point is that is one of the reasons when I talk about choosing where you're going to be outstanding, we have a 95% client success rate. That is a priority for me, because you can argue with how loud I am. You can argue with how blunt I can be sometimes. You can argue with all these different things, how extra I can be, but you can't argue with results. You can't argue with the fact that, oh my gosh, the process actually works. And here's the thing, when you get around outstanding people, without even having to work it, you will automatically begin to challenge yourself to be more outstanding. That's why I am in the masterminds that I'm in, because I'm around people that just by who they are and how they think and what they say and what they do, it's like it just calls me up to think in a different way. And when we talk about being outstanding, the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. So it's either you're going to choose to be outstanding at your work, at your job, at your business, at your finances, at your investments, or why bother doing it at all? You know, ask yourself, what do I want to be known for? Because if you're willing to settle in your financial growth, if you're willing to settle in the way that you show up in your work, then you're going to be likely settling in your health, likely settling in your relationships. Like, we see so many people where they start scaling and all of a sudden their health is like just wonderfully blooming. You know, their relationships are getting better. Everything in their life is getting better because how you do one thing is how you do everything. So the last thing I'm going to say before I give you guys your action points is this. There is a reason why most people do not live in an outstanding way. There is a reason, and it's called sabotage. It's called sabotage. Let's talk about the money mindsets that often stop people from being outstanding. So first of all, it's environment. If you're not in an outstanding environment, you're not going to be able to even think about what outstanding looks like for you. So people around you, that's one. But for a lot of people, there's these internal thoughts as well, internal biases as well. What will people think about me? I don't want to outshine my siblings or my parents. You know, my parents worked so hard and this is all they earned, and how it would almost be me belittling them to earn so much more by doing so much less. So we overwork ourselves and stress ourselves and create suffering so that we can fit in, sometimes with our friends. For some people, and these are real money mindset roadblocks. You know, I don't want to shine so much that people hate on me. You know, I don't want to be hated for being too successful. I don't want people to think that I'm stush or bougie. If y'all don't know these words, get to know these words, right? Some of y'all probably know the word. Some of y'all are bougie. What is bougie? You know, but I don't want people to think that I'm bougie. I don't want people to think that I'm too much, that I'm extra, that I'm this or I'm that. And you may be listening to this and you're like, no, Toyin, that's not me. I know I want to be outstanding. Everything in me wants to be outstanding. But the truth is, just like Marianne, the client I was talking about in the beginning of this episode, where she was in the job for the 12 years, you know, wanting it, imagining it, envisioning being outstanding, when these thoughts are there, it doesn't matter what you do, you're not going to allow yourself to be outstanding, because when you are outstanding, you will shine. And when you shine, you will have some haters. And you'll have a lot of people who are inspired by you and who learn from you and who thank you and are grateful to you, but you're going to have haters. And so those thoughts, those fears, it's not like it's just imagined, they're real. And it can sound silly, but those are the thoughts that often keep people mediocre for decades. And it's worse because most people won't admit it. And because they aren't willing to admit that those fears are there, they can't change it. And because they don't change it, they don't get a different lifestyle. So what do I want to say? I want to say this. If you are tired of being stagnant, you know, you're tired of settling and just getting by and just being normal like everybody else around you, suffering and struggling, and yeah, you know, I have money, the bills are paid, but we can't really go on vacation, we can't do this, we can't do that. If you're tired of that life, if you know that you have the ability, and for some of you, you're not even there, but you just know, there's a capacity in me for more, for a greater level of outstanding than what I have experienced or lived, but I've been holding myself back and I don't know why. And if you're done with mediocrity keeping you from your next $1 million, then I want you guys to book a call with our team right now. moneymindsetShift.ca/call. It is completely free, y'all. It's a free call. And what we're going to do is we're going to sit with you, we're going to think with you, and we're going to help you to determine what are the roadblocks that have been keeping you from being outstanding in your finances and in your business or your career, and what do you need to do to break out of that prison and walk in a level of excellence that the world has not yet seen. That's what we're going to talk about. I love you guys. I am really enjoying this series on the irreplaceable habits of millionaires. And like I said, I want you guys to share these episodes. This is the juice. This is the stuff that creates millionaires. And I promise you guys, this is stuff that I've actually trained on inside of my program years ago. And I decided to bring it out just for our podcast listeners because they are such game changers for getting into your $1 million journey. So I want you guys, share this with your friends, with your family, share it with your enemies, and then jump wherever you're listening to the podcast. If it's YouTube, give it a like, subscribe to the channel. If you are listening on Spotify, rate us 5-star. If you're on Apple, rate us. Like, just do your part to share this message so that other people can also get access to the information and create for themselves. The truth is, there is more than enough abundance for every single one of us to be able to thrive. I love you guys, and I'll see you guys this time next week. Peace. Hey millionaires, thanks for tuning in to today's show. If you want to subscribe, there's a little picture of me right here. Click on that. And if you want to have a free financial breakthrough session with my team, then you can go on ahead and click on the button right here or visit moneymindset.ca/call. I'll see you guys on the next show. Bye-bye.